Hello. So,
Hello.
hi. So we are joined today by Sandie Powner from Sandie Powner Pet Photography. Is it pet photography,
Yep.
portrait photographer? Pet photography.
Pet photography, yeah.
I did think it was. And then I thought, do you do anything else? So you are local, aren't you? You're based Market Harborough Way.
Yes, based in Market Harborough, but happy to travel. So, yeah.
Good. So Prim and I had a session with you, gosh, a while ago now, before this craziness started.
It was only the beginning of February, which
Was it?
doesn't seem very long ago, but feels like ages ago, actually.
Yeah, it does. So I wanted you to come on and just tell people about you because we had a really lovely session with you actually, and it was nice to
Oh,
see how, although Prim is crazy excited, how easily she relaxed and stuff, which is really nice. And I think that's a worry that a lot of people have when choosing a pet photographer. So
absolutely.
tell us about you. Tell us everything that you do, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, obviously, I specialise in pets. The session you came to was a mini session,
Mm-hmm.
so slightly different to what I normally do. So, but I'll talk a bit about that as well, because there's fors and against for both ways of doing things. So generally what I do, I'm fully mobile. I don't have a physical studio myself. So for the studio style portraits, I tend to, normally, I say if I'm doing a sort of a one-to-one session as such, I go to people's homes, which some people find really scary. They go, oh my God, have I got enough space in my house? It's a tick. What am I going to do? I bring a lot of mess with me. So don't worry about the mess. That's fine. And space-wise, it really isn't an issue. I'm quite used to squeezing myself in between a sideboard and a kitchen table or under the table to take photos. It's not a big deal.
And it's not a
But
huge setup, is it? Like when I came
it's
to
not.
the hall, I was surprised at sort of how little space you did need because I thought it would be
Yeah.
like, we need
No.
everything. Actually, it was just a small space, which was perfect.
Yeah, and it's exactly the same stuff I take to people's houses. Um, Obviously, if there's more than one dog, it can be a bit bigger because you sometimes need a bit more space either side.
Mm-hmm.
Because dogs tend not to sit right in the middle of the backdrop. They like to sit at one side or the other, so I have lots of cloning work to do. But that's the fun part. So yeah, it's not a big space. It's not a big setup. It's very relaxed, and that's the good thing about actually being in somebody's home, because it's a familiar environment for the dog. It's very relaxed. Okay, there's this weird person bringing a load of clutter into the house, but they get to have a good sniff, and everything's very, very relaxed. You know, they can have a good sniff, get used to me. I don't say there's a time limit at all. Obviously your session was a little bit different because it was a mini session,
Mm-hmm.
but of course we didn't have the setup time, because when I'm going to somebody's house there's a lot of setting up to do as well.
Okay.
But it's very much about, you know, keeping the dog happy, keeping the dog relaxed, and if they're not happy, obviously we change things.
Perfect. And you go out to you do like environmental shoots as well with them. So if someone had a gun
Absolutely.
dog and they wanted like a picture of their dog retrieving or working, you can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, locations great fun as well. There are some lovely parks and things around the area
Yeah,
that
we're very
are
lucky, aren't we? It's a beautiful part
local.
of the world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's the same process outdoors, other than we don't have a load of stuff to set up. It's still very much relaxed, you know, taking time. I tend not to schedule more than one photo shoot in a day, sort of a normal photo shoot, because some dogs take longer to get used to things than others, basically. And I don't want anybody to feel rushed or stressed about what's happening.
That's the thing. It's like you have to work with the dog in front of you, don't you, and just see
Absolutely.
what they work with. I suppose if you've worked with them before and they want another shoot a couple of years later, and you know sort of how it's going to
Yeah,
work, it's a little bit easier. But you've just got to go at the pace of the dog, haven't you? No point
you
rushing.
have. And that's part of the reason I normally send a questionnaire out beforehand, and it asks a load of questions from what you want to get out of the shoot, but also things like if the dog has any particular health issues that could be an issue, if they're nervous, anything's like whether they react to noises, things like that. I did a shoot last year, I think it was, and it was a dog that had been very, very badly mistreated by its previous owner. And she had 2 dogs, and she said to me, "I'll just come along, and if we can only do the more confident dog, then that's fine, it's not a problem." So I literally minimized everything. I had one light, one not even a proper backdrop. I used the black side of a reflector. So it was literally tiny, and we got shots of this dog, and they were over the moon because they didn't think we'd accomplish it.
Lovely, that's amazing.
But it was just by knowing the situation, and I actually didn't touch that dog until the 3rd time I met it.
Goes to show, doesn't it? You've just got to go slowly and see.
Absolutely.
So how did you get into pet photography? Have you always done photography, then just niched down into pets, or did you have a different career beforehand? Or
I've always done photography as a hobby.
Right, okay.
Since I was, I don't know, 11, 12, maybe even a bit younger. Absolutely loved it. And I basically got bullied by my friend.
Oh, no.
And not in a bad way, but she sort of said, "You're good enough to make something more of this." And she kept on, and I thought, okay, then fine.
A positive way of
good
like shoehorned into it. I thought you were saying you got bullied, so I was thinking, oh no.
No. It's sort of like, basically she gave me a good kick up the proverbial to say, get on with it and do it. And I'm a member of the Guild of Photographers, which I actually joined before I started doing it professionally.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do their competitions, which is very good. And Prim's photo won a bronze award.
It does, because she's so beautiful. Obviously, you're a wonderful photographer as well.
No, it is a lovely photo of her. It really is.
I'll have to pop it into our little Facebook group so people can see. Honestly, when you put the images, I sat here with Jo and I was like, I don't know which one to choose. Like, they're all beautiful. But you've got them forever. So, when I want a birthday present, I'll give them a nudge.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the key thing. I very much feel that, you don't want to be pressured into buying anything. So that's why I say, if I've shown you it, I keep it, and come back at a later date, it'll be there.
I loved how you packaged the whole experience, to be fair, even though we had a mini shoot. Like, the introductory process was really good, and then the experience with you, but also like the aftercare side of things as well, and the ongoing like relationship that we've had, to be fair, to even lead to doing this. But it's been really wonderful, and I know that those pictures are there, and should my big plonker of a dog need his photo taken, I know that I'll come straight to you, and it will probably take us all day to get a photo of him, to be fair, but I know you'll be happy to sit and work with him, so it pays off, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So is there you've not got a dog, have you? Is it you've got a dog?
I've got a timeshare dog. Yeah. he's my mum's dog, because obviously my husband and I also do the travel business. Not at the moment, but normally. So we're away far too much to have a dog. So my mum, she has a dog called Charlie. He's a Staffy Collie cross.
Oh.
So it's a bit of a combination. But he comes to us now and again if she's going on a holiday that's not dog friendly.
He comes on with you.
Yeah, he's a bit of a softie. He's quite a nervous dog, actually. He's quite hard to photograph.
Oh, is he? Some do, don't they? Some just shrink in front of the camera. Selena, my partner, she had some pictures done of Bandit, who's her little Boston Terrier. And it's the pictures of him, because he's such a bouncy little dog and he's full of energy. But she had this picture of him done, and he's like sat like this with his ears back. He's like, oh, I don't like being in front of the camera. But some dogs just don't like it, do they?
Some dogs just don't. No, absolutely. And I mean, I've done a canine body language course, which I think is actually really important in
especially for photographers, really.
everything.
Yeah.
But just to know, because then although obviously anyway when a dog's not happy, but it's the little signs that obviously build up, and it gives you a chance to change things before the dog gets really stressed and unhappy, which obviously nobody wants that to happen.
No, and at the end of the day, it's not nice for you or the owner or the dog, is it, in that situation? But that's
Absolutely.
That's a really interesting thing that you've said, that it's all the subtle signs that you don't always read, but that's really important. You never think photographers needing that, but actually you do.
It's a really, really useful skill, and I've seen photos online of dogs that look absolutely petrified, and I just think I couldn't even show a client that kind of image. But
no, it's funny, isn't it? I'm impressed with that. I like that idea. So do you have a particular, not a favourite breed necessarily to photograph, but do you have a preference over, like, if it's an environmental shoot or if it's a studio shoot, or do you have different parts of each that you love?
Oh, that's really tricky. I really love puppies. People get a bit like, oh, my puppy can't sit and stay yet, I can't have a photo shoot. It doesn't faze me at all.
Like, bring it on.
Bring it on, absolutely. And litters, I love litter shoots.
So that's people that have bred them, that have all the photos of them done together. I like those.
The group shots are fun,
and that's really special actually for a breeder to have those. They have one of each litter done if it's out of the same bitch, or as you develop your line. That's really nice to look back on, because I think it's really important as a breeder that you keep in contact with your puppies anyway. But
absolutely.
Do you have it as a group shot then, do little individuals, or?
What normally happens is that the breeder will do a group shot, and they'll normally give all the puppy parents a copy of the group shot. I always do individual shots as well, because that's like your safety, if you know what I mean, because you can't guarantee that you're going to get the group shot. It depends on so much. I actually did a shoot last year of a litter. It was only 5 puppies. The most I've done in a litter is 13.
Oh my goodness, it's like puppies everywhere.
Yeah, that was fun. But it was a litter of Kuikahunja, which I'd never heard of them before. I'd done an adult Kuikahunja before, but they're a Dutch hunting dog.
Oh, right.
They're a bit like a toller.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that kind of dog, but they're very, very common abroad, but not so much here.
Oh, I'll have to get one of those.
Have a look. But beautiful, beautiful dogs. There were only 5 of them, and it was a 5-hour shoot, which is pretty normal for a litter, to be honest. But what you have to do with puppies or with a litter is get them all reasonably sleepy.
Right.
Get them in position and then wake them up, and you kind of get the shot as they wake up.
Brilliant. So it's quite a lengthy process.
Yeah. And this one puppy had no intention of sleeping whatsoever. And I literally in that shoot got 2 group shots, and that was it. And one of them was the right shot.
Oh wow, just shows, doesn't it?
So that was
and what sort of age do you do the puppy shoots then? Do you do it obviously whilst they're still with mum, but are they at eyes open stage, or?
Normally I aim to be between about 5 and 7 weeks. I have done them younger. I've done them just on 4 weeks, but they tend to be a bit dopey still at that age. The litter of 13, I had 13 Rhodesian Ridgeback puppies.
Oh.
Yeah. They were 7 weeks, and they were full of beans.
I bet. I can remember when when I was much, much younger, Dad had a working line Labrador, and he wanted to keep a puppy from the litter, so he bred her, and she had 8, and it was her first litter. It was amazing. I was like 11, So it's just like to be around all these puppies is just incredible. But like changing their beds is fine, and then you get to this point where they like start to walk, and you think, "Oh, I've put you there. Oh, you're back," and then it's like it's never ending, isn't it? So I imagine trying to take a photo of them is just insane.
Yeah, it's fun. It's chaos. It's fun, but you know, that's what I like.
Oh, lovely. That's
It's good fun.
So with people being stuck at home with their dogs, which is actually really quite nice, I'm really enjoying it, and my dogs definitely are. But trying to get photos of my dogs is a different thing. So I've got obviously Prim, I've got Cody, my big shepherd, and I've got Paddy, who is a black Patterdale. And trying to get him on a photo, I just can't do it. It's just like this black blob. So do you have any tips for taking photos at home, or what people can do just like, you know, just on your iPhone or whatever? Or
yeah, I mean, iPhone camera's great. I use the iPhone camera, and I think it's, you know, it's brilliant, and what you can do with it, you know, these days is amazing. There is a bit of a trick for black dogs on the iPhone.
Oh, okay.
Now you might need help, because you might need somebody to keep your dog in position.
Okay.
So with a treat or whatever their motivator is. But once you've got the shot sort of lined up with a black dog, if you tap on the screen, sort of on the dog where you want it to sort of focus, the inbuilt meter on the phone should adjust the light.
Oh, okay.
But what you can also do is, once you've tapped on it once, you can then sort of slide your finger up and down, and it will actually change the exposure.
Oh, clever.
On the screen.
Okay.
I think it's only on the later iPhones, so the sort of the most recent one or two. But that is a trick for getting the exposure right, because black dogs are a bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
You don't think of it like, and I think I get some really beautiful photos of him sometimes, like if the sun's on him at the right angle and he actually sits still.
Yes. I mean, obviously things like if you're make sure the window or the light source is to the side of you or behind you.
Okay.
Because if you're shooting into the light, you're going to get silhouettes.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with silhouettes, obviously, because a silhouette photo can be absolutely brilliant. But if it's not what you're aiming to get, you know, if you want them well lit, keep the light to the side or behind you. Okay. What you can also do, if it's a really, really sunny day, and this sounds a bit weird, but sometimes when the sunlight's shining, it can be quite harsh. If you're in the house and the light's going, it's quite harsh. Pin a sheet up, like a bed sheet.
Right, okay.
And it basically acts as like a great big reflector and softens the light coming in. So you'll still get the light, but because it's coming through the sheet, it diffuses it and it makes it much softer.
Oh, brilliant. That's a good tip. I like that.
It is a good tip. Other things, obviously general tips, not necessarily so much for necessarily being at home, but get down to their level.
Okay.
Is key, really, because particularly with phones have something like a 16mm lens, which is wide angle.
Right, okay. So
it can, if you're sort of above them, it can distort what they look like. Okay. Sometimes if you take a photo from above, they sort of get all head and no body, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, sometimes when we take photos in the salon of dogs and we're like above them, you just get like a head and a bit of fluff and they look like little balls. Yeah. And you think, didn't quite get that right, but we should do that actually. We should take pictures of them on the table. We did do it, and then we got into the habit of like not taking photos at all and forgetting about it. And then you do it when they're on the floor, but yeah, we'll have to try that.
Yeah, if you're at their level, everything's kind of in proportion, so that's a good tip. And of course keeping their attention, so you know, your high value treats, your motivators, tennis balls, whatever keeps your dog attention to keep them looking in the right direction.
Squeaky noises, honestly,
squeaky noises.
You should hear me and Selena when we're in the salon. We're like jumping around and we're like rattling keys or rustling packets, thinking, what's going to get them looking this way.
There's an app called, I think it's called Dog Sounds app.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's worth downloading, and it's got various noises from dogs barking to squeaking to all sorts of things that you can try to get their attention.
Oh, I'll have to try that as well. Very good. Fab. So if people want to know more about you or where to find you, where do they go to?
I've got a Facebook page, Sandie Powner Photography. I've got a website, which is www.sandiepownerphotography.co.uk. Or Instagram, again, it's Sandie Powner Photography. I'm pretty obvious, hopefully. If they want, on my website, they'll see it should pop up, but there's a free download for tips for taking photos of your dog.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I'll try and tag your Facebook. When I put this in the group, I'll try and tag your Facebook, and see if we can get your website on it as well then, so people...
Yeah, there is a direct link to sort of get the free download, so I can comment with that as well for you. So
perfect.
If people are interested, they can...
I'm sure they will be. It's been lovely.
And there is on the download thing, there is also a special offer. It says within 14 days, if they want to book a shoot, they get a discount. Obviously, at the minute, 14 days, but I've said, if anybody just registers their interest within that time, and then I'll honour the deal afterwards. Brilliant. When life is getting back to normal, hopefully.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be soon. Well, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you for your time, and you're not so busy schedule at the moment. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I shall see you soon.
Yeah, take care.